We are unmuted.
Are you YouTubing too, or just?
Mhm.
Well, in order, the one fire commissioners, George Durivage, fire commissioner number one, this is the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. Moment of silence and fire district. Roll call, please.
Scott.
Here.
Rich. Here. Dan. Here. Dave.
Here.
Brian.
Here.
All here.
Public session will be at the end of the meeting. If anybody from the public has any thing to contribute, please send in an email. District Building Committee report for Waynesville Fire Department building upgrade. Rich and Dave.
On building upgrade.
No, we haven't had anything on that yet.
All right. Department President's reports. Waynesville. No president here, but the chief, do you have no item for the department? I just opened this. Was a submission report from DFD. This is from PJ, thanking us for his for our support during his recent surgery. There's no building use forms, 2 new members, which Bob just gave me. And thank you for allowing use of the meeting room. So we'll take action on the members later. Anything else, Bob, that you're aware of?
Just the 2-member applications and a resignation of a member.
All right. Why don't start passing these around if you guys want to look at them, and by the time you get membership, everybody will see them.
President Beckman's here.
What's that? Oh, PJ, I just read your report. Do you have anything else to contribute?
There's also one resignation. Did you get that?
Yeah, we're going to address all that under membership.
Okay. Sorry, I was wondering.
That's all right.
It's good to see you.
Yes, it is. Approval of the prior month's minutes. The public hearing minutes and the regular minutes.
We'll do that. We approve one of them separately, or
I think we can go together. Anybody
they
have
both
any
be approved?
questions, comments, additions, deletions? None here. Second, motion made by Rich to approve both, second by Dave. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Treasurer's report. Sean?
Here comes the bank recs for you to review and initial.
Sir.
General fund checking account at a reconciled balance as of October 31st of $42,926.90, earning 32 cents worth of interest for the month, $378.04 worth of interest for the year. The bond fund has officially been closed. It did earn $1.31 worth of interest for the year.
Again, that money was used to pay for the money that was unspent from the bond fund was used to pay towards the bond in our September semi-annual bond payment. Money market account had a reconciled balance of $1,737,160.84. Of that amount, $421,567 of the general fund, $1,108,569.33 capital reserve equipment, $154,825.60 capital reserve building, and $52,198.15 capital reserve repair. The money market account earned $15.60 worth of interest for the month. For the year, $356.54 worth of interest on the money market account. All copies of the bank reconciliations and the bank statements are here and attached to the treasurer's report for the month of October.
Questions for Sean? resolution, a resolution to accept the report. Megan. Brian, you second. Scott, roll call.
Scott?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye. Approval of the prior month's invoices.
Okay, so this month,
I'm sorry, Sean, can I?
absolutely, sorry.
You have a note on our procurement form?
After Sean's done with
Go ahead,
that.
Sean.
Thank you.
You want me to do that now?
You can.
Procurement report?
Yeah.
You know that lovely procurement form and procurement policy we have? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the numbers on that form have been the same for over 10 years. And it's causing us a lot. So it's $500 we gotta get 2 quotes, and then was it over $2,000?
3,000.
We gotta get more quotes. And we're having, well, I guess 2 things. One thing is that threshold maybe needs to be bumped up because prices have increased over the last dozen years. And the second conundrum is we're having difficulty sometimes receiving written quotes from some of the vendors. So we're hoping we can, reconcile part of that problem, or so resolve part of that problem by increasing the amount on the procurement policy. So I was going to look at that and maybe update it and send it out so we can officially adopt it at our organizational meeting in January. Okay, so I just plant that seed. Gary's in agreement, and Bob's spoke with Gary, and they're kind of in agreement of modifying that.
You gonna push them towards the legal limits, or are you gonna somewhere between, or do you not?
Well, I was actually going to reach out to Gary, because I guess Bob had spoken to Terry, and Terry said that some of the other districts that he works with had also changed there, so I'm going to get a feel from him what he thought would be reasonable and acceptable. Good?
You use the word conundrum, I'm right behind you, brother.
Okay, so I will be working on that, and I'll reach out to Terry, and then I'll send it out to you before we have the organizational meeting, so got a heads up.
Just so you know, you have absolute discretion to do anything with those ranges below 20,000 for goods and 35 for services. And what we're seeing primarily is on the services side. Try and think of a service that you can get for anything like an. I mean, those numbers need to be pushed up. So it's the way to go. So, but you'll have plenty of leverage and plenty of flexibility with how you want to do that.
All right. Take off half of you have a proposal. Anything to add on that? Bills?
I didn't speak of but the bills, I just put it out there now, are $30,796.13 for the month of November. It was a nice light month. Hope we hold out for the rest of the year that way.
Any questions for Sean on the bills we approved? Resolution to approve those? Rich, you have a second? Dave, roll call.
Brian? Aye. Dave?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Rich? Scott? Aye.
Resolution carries. Correspondence, Bob, received and sent.
We received the Association of Fire Districts, New York, the Fire District Affairs Bulletin for October and November. And we also received a client advisory number 5 on budget, election deadlines, and new medical clearance policy from the Hannigan Law Firm. That's it.
Old business. Anybody have any old business to? No. There's your new business. Battery charger installation utility 4-2. Is that a hot item or a chief mason item?
That is going out Thursday morning upstate to have the customer put into it.
All right,
Pending your approval.
what's that?
Pending the district's approval.
All right.
This, we thought we were going to have to do this back when we spec'd out utility 4.2, and the battery is going dead. It's been a continual problem. So, I mean, it's more of a maintenance issue. We just wanted to make sure that you were aware.
Is this, the $1,101.24,
Correct.
right? Why don't we just do one resolution at the end for all these purchases? Does anybody have any questions on the specific purchase? Right. Window cleaning at DFD and WFD. That quote is for $1,300 from Clean Concepts and Maintenance. Anything you want to add?
Well, we normally like to do this earlier in the year just because of everything that happened with COVID-19, and then with the repairs to the overhead doors, we said we were going to hold off. $1,296 is the quote for DFD, and $455 is the quote for WFD. WFD just gets the overhead doors in the apparatus bays cleaned because Derek Grande does the windows upstairs. The $1,296 here at DFD is everything, and we rent a lift for them to do the upper windows here at DFD. You know, if there's a concern because we're going into the winter months to wait next year, I mean, I was asked by the board to get a quote after we got the situation with the overhead doors at Lionsville, so I did.
What's your recommendation?
Well, I mean, the windows they're getting dirty. So is that something we really want, especially in the apparatus space? You want, clean windows out there. I mean, the administrative areas maybe isn't as important right now, but clearly the apparatus areas, I think, is important.
Historically, we always did this in beginning of May to be prepped for open house for Memorial Day. So,
right.
I don't know if I said I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
I apologize.
Well, I'm just wondering if it's worth it just waiting until next May or something. But, spring clean agent.
It's because the winter, you just get sloppy.
I would suggest wait till get it back on the normal schedule again.
I noticed in here they charge tax on the DeFriesville quote, but not the wine school.
yeah, we just take that off. I think it's a QuickBooks quote. Yeah, and they just.
Usually in the winter is when you start getting steam and everything else when you're washing trucks.
Yeah.
That collects that, steam and dust equals dirty windows again. So I think we should wait till April, May, and get them all done and have it.
Just do it then.
Okay. I'll let the vendor know.
That's my thought on it.
I'm sure he'll understand that.
All right. Command vehicle striping quote.
This is
$1,113.50.
and this is for the 2 new command vehicles that are expected early next week for the striping. They pretty much held the quote from the last time, and they also applied a 15% discount stripes that it's for both vehicles. And that's per the specification that had been approved for the other vehicles.
Okay, it's nothing added on to it. That's probably coming off the one that's there now when it gets transferred to the new car. That's the big bottom part taken off. All right. High-band VHF radio quote.
Talk about it?
Sure.
Okay. I've got a quote in front of me because I don't make iPad, but first off, I want to commend Bob for the outstanding effort that he put into pulling this thing together. We looked at a number of different radios. The Motorola option, which of course is the Cadillac option that everybody immediately wants to jump to, would have been almost twice as much money as what we're looking at with Kenwoods. Kenwoods are a good serviceable radio. They're going to fill our need appropriately. We don't use that high band connection all that much. I think especially in the not so much the command vehicles, but in the apparatus, most of the time, if they just had a scanner that picked up high band, that would suffice for what they needed for. It's nice to be able to have that two-way communication though. So I'm not disputing the need for it. The command vehicles, certainly they talk to the police department and the highway department. They do that a lot more often than we do in the apparatus. But these are a good radio, they're serviceable radio. They are a radio that the radio itself will be mounted in one location, and it'll be cabled to a head, which brings down the profile of the radio in the console area, makes it smaller. We don't have to worry about it overheating. We don't have to worry about jamming it in there and making it fit and all that stuff. So it's a good match. I think it's a good choice for what we're doing. In the command vehicles, we'll be buying the box and two control heads, one for the back, one for the cab. In the two engines, we'll just be buying the box and the control head for the cab.
So you're not running the same as we're doing on the other side, your wine stuff? They run a high band at the engine, at the pump panel. I think we should match them.
Well, we're talking about the new ones.
Right.
The new engines, they're supposed to be identical.
Right.
But I mean, you ask any of the drivers when the last time they used that high band radio.
Well, that may be the case, but it's been the district way we've been doing it going back 15 years. It's the way
If we want to incur that cost to buy additional heads to match something that we've done in the past,
well, I think
less money.
I think it was money spent on the high band panel. They haven't put it in place when we have the disaster. I know that our guys are using it when 800 gets so clogged up with the county stuff that they do use that side band with everybody else. And again, I don't want to be having two different policies because of two different departments on how we do our radios or any part. Because that's what let them be.
Well, I mean, the Friesels have the high band heads at the pump panel too. Never use them. Why are we? I just don't see the need for the expense there. That's all. And I mean, we'll get a board here. What before we can.
Well, it matches everything else that's on mine stuff. Right now, that's the way they've had it since the beginning of time. And I understand it. In the beginning, we didn't do those channels over here. We only had them over there when we first bought it, and then when we had to truck it in by the tree up on 43 when you and I retrieved, that's when we figured out the high band channels work great when 800 went down. It's the only channel that we have available to us. And that's the whole purpose behind it. It's a backup to everything else.
But I guess my point is we're not saying the high band radio is not available. The high band radios in the cab.
If it goes down, that's the only thing you're going to have for communication.
So you got talk around.
Right.
You would have talk on
You'll
all part of
talk around. The ADM system goes down. You got talk around. You got the I don't know.
Well, I guess it's an operational thing. To me, we should still
Mark,
continue.
I know Adam was very much in favor of doing it, but he's the only one that I heard from that was in favor of doing it. Mark, do you have a feeling one way or the other?
I let that one out because that was his baby he was putting together.
What would the added cost be to buy two more control heads, cables?
This is remote mount single head, probably about another $2,700.
For both or for one?
No, for both, plus the installation. So you're probably talking at least 3,000 plus.
If that's $3,000 we want to spend, if that's $3,000 less to spend.
I just want to have a match. That's it. Because I know that the way all the engines are set up now.
They're going to match. In fact, we're not buying the same radio. Because the radio itself that we have, so you can't even get it anymore.
That's fine. It doesn't have to be the same way as long as it works the same way.
I'm not in favor of it. But
I think, and maybe Chief Burkhardt can comment on this, but I don't know if all the larger apparatus at DeFreeseville has the dual head.
No, I don't think they did.
I know that the rescue
did when it was 9.2 and it never got used. That was our first line piece for over a decade. And never use that radio. If the 800 system goes down, you have the group talk around that sits in the, that talk around doesn't depend on the radio towers, it depends on the apparatus. So the talk around works just fine for the 800. It's line of sight. If you're on the fire ground, if you need anything additional, you just get on the police radio, which
Does the decision have to be made on this piece tonight? Is this something the two chiefs can just get together and give a recommendation? From an operational standpoint, I think.
I
our
don't,
opinion's gonna-
I don't think it does, but it will require that we go back and talk to Suffolk. Because they're gonna have to run an additional cable and mount, well, they'll have to run an additional cable, but I don't know if they're gonna mount the radios or Wells is gonna mount the radios when the trucks get here. Actually, Wells will mount the radios, but they'll have to run the additional cable for it from the box out to the pump panel area should we choose to do that.
Did you say there's a head on every piece of apparatus by the pump in over Wynesville? I know it's nice to have things the same, but in this particular case, I mean, if they have it on every piece of apparatus over there. I agree with you, Dan, if we put it in over there and not here.
I agree with you, let's, we got a little bit of time, let's see, let the
Throw back-
chiefs,
throw back the
hash
chiefs,
it out.
Come back.
Because it's an operation, so let the chiefs hash it out, see what they think.
It'd
be nice to know.
I hate to see one thing, some trucks one way, other trucks another way, also, I get that.
I just don't like to see us, I've been a firm believer, arguing in fact that we should be doing things alike, and I firmly believe that. But we shouldn't be spending money because that's the way we've always spent money on something. And that was my thought on this one, is that we operationally, it never gets used. And now with the talk around improvements that allow us to use the talk around that way, it just seems superfluous, but we'll go back to the chiefs. But the rate, can we go ahead and improve the radios themselves?
That's what I meant, can we just approve all of this, but just
Because there's work,
decide on the.
there's work that's being done in Suffolk tomorrow that's gonna be dependent on me giving them a phone call saying it's gonna prove.
Right, so next month, if they say, yeah, we want these radios in,
Okay,
it's not a point of no return, right? Is that correct?
that's correct.
All right.
I think you can, 6 is already, or 7's already has one on there. So we might be able to reuse it. I don't know, just texted me here, that we can reuse the radio heads that we have over there.
Isn't it different from the new one?
Yeah, they're not ACO, they're not programmable, the radios that are on 7 right now are, what's the word I'm looking for? Not superfluous, they're out of date, they're obsolete, they're
We
obsolete,
have 2 different model radios on the truck.
they're outdated, they're obsolete.
See what he's saying, Mark, you text me something.
I don't know.
Anyways, I think just bring it back and see what you guys think. It's just that I really, I don't want to see 2 different operation modes because one side does it versus the other side. It was something that was done going
When
back.
was the last time that those high band, maybe written in a procedure somewhere that's available?
From what I understand, they're using them for when 800 gets busy. During pump out season and everything else, and all the other events that we have, the trees down, they've been using it back and forth. And that's a channel that they can
I've
talk
never heard it used or seen it used, but I'm not gonna argue with it.
Well, let's let the chiefs come back and
She's back with her.
Put our heads together and get back.
Now, say also, if it's an operational need,
And
I was gonna say, does that beg the question, if it's truly an operational need, do you gotta retrofit all the freeze slab apparatus now? It's gonna become a district policy thing, you gotta do all the other trucks that don't have it.
every month we have this discussion about money not growing on trees.
Yep.
And this is just $3,000 license to be available for something else.
There's all different ways. There's all different ways.
Okay, chiefs, let's do it.
We need to approve. We need to approve that, the radio.
Yeah, entertain a resolution to approve the purchase of the battery charger, the command vehicle striping, and the highway radios noted in here.
Oh my God.
Made by Brian, need a second. Scott, roll call. Scott.
Aye. Rich?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Dave? Aye. Brian?
Aye.
All right. Chiefs reports, Wynesville.
Yeah, should have my copy of the monthly report for Lawrence itself. Total alarms were 63, total hours out of alarms were 266. Total for the year is 2,227. Total alarms for the year are 424, breaking down to 328 fire calls and 96 rescues. We had 7 drills for the month, 207 hours for a total of 1,089 hours. Average response is 6.1 minutes. Staff on the first truck is 3.8 and average staff per alarm is 6.6. I don't have really too much tonight to bring up. The alternator on truck 4-2 has been replaced and a couple of minor things that were done. Still haven't heard anything on the cab system on the parks. Talking to John Greco, he said that a lot of the places aren't open and not available. The park departments are still closed, so we're still waiting for them to open up so we can get into that. So as soon as he hears something, he'll let me know. Sherman Air was in this month to take and service the air system for the SCBA filling station. That's been completed. You already heard utility 4-2 going out to upstate this week. They got the custom put in, so we'll set there. Eland also completed the fire extinguisher service at the fire station. The only other thing is I have one purchase for the upgrade on the ticks for both stations. Total cost is $11,780, I believe, which is the same as the last 2 that we replaced. Those were ones that Bob brought up last month that was going to be coming, so he has that quote for approval tonight. Other than that, that's all I have.
All right, any questions for Mark Mason? Take action on these purchases when we have here both chiefs' reports. William.
Buddy emailed you guys her report. Also, I emailed the commissioners about the BFO class that's coming up. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. It should be coming in on I also CC Chief Mason too. It should be starting, I believe, the 19th of December. It sounds like there's going to be more hands-on class, just as it's part of the state curriculum now. What they're doing.
I got at least one coming for that right now.
We have that coming up here soon, so I just kind of want to make you guys aware of your situational awareness. Obviously, it's the district's facility, so I just want to make you aware. Just kind of, I don't know if you touched on it, I apologize for coming late, I've got out of work. With the new 9.7, it seems like the process is getting started a little quicker than what I even thought. The new equipment, I'm just kind of concerned about getting new equipment because, as you heard Chief Mason, places are still getting dog behind with catching up on orders and stuff like that. We do require some stuff with the new engines. Like the 9.7 will need a chainsaw and stuff like that. I know we wanted to look at the end of the year, but like I said, it seems like the new 9.7 kind of got
Chief's budget has been pushed and extended, so there's really no money left in the chief's budget, so we have to look for money in other areas.
Yeah.
And I can't really, we still have 3 more months worth of bills that I gotta make sure I take care of. So right now, there's about $210,000 that it's unspent. We've got $30,000 worth of bills tonight, so
Yeah.
if we keep the bills down between now and the end of the year, we'll have money to buy some equipment.
Okay.
That's my hope.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up just to
Throw up that
keep
one.
kicking
I
that.
might take a look. I'm kind of at a standstill until time
Yeah,
goes
no,
by.
I understand. I was also wanted to inquire about getting an easy pass for DeFrisco. We ended up having a detail where we had to send Utility 9 down to Long Island to pick up the piece of equipment, and we didn't have an easy pass for our apparatus. I believe Lionsville has one for when they get details and stuff like that, and it would just be something I would like to look into for over here, so we have one hanging around so we can toss in the truck. Yeah. Also, we're going to Pennsylvania probably a couple more times in the next coming couple months to go check out the new truck.
I think that's fine to get. I mean, the other thing now too with this cashless tolling or whatever it is, they just read the license plate and get a bill.
Yeah.
We have an account, Dan.
What's that?
We have an account, a district account, so I can request one.
No, I don't think we really have to formally do that. I mean, it's just
I just kind of wanted, I didn't know, so.
yeah, it's fine. But I mean, if you find yourself on the throughway without one, it'll just read the plate now anyway.
Okay. Just also, could we just have somebody, I forgot to say something to Bob earlier today, but just look into the radio room. The environmental controls seem a little goofy. The heat's running on the floor, but the air conditioner's running overhead at the same time.
With the weather we've had the last couple of days, I'm
They're
surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
So I dropped a pin, I went to go pick it up, and the floor was blazing hot, and the air conditioner's blowing overhead, so. I don't know if it's just something that needs a little tweak. But outside of that, that would be the end of my report.
The only other thing I've been watching, I watched the news today, and the area counties here, COVID is starting to spike in that area, so we're gonna be monitoring it to see if and when we may have to take it and shut down again.
Apparently, they've put COVID cases into the CAD.
Yes, they updated every day or every other day or something.
We rolled out to a call yesterday, and when we called en route, they called us in the air and said, are you aware of the circumstances at that location? We all kind of looked at each other and then the apparatus and said, no. And before they could even say anything, Captain Strasburg asked them on the radio, would you like me to call in by phone? And they said that's affirmative, and it was COVID in the building. Was not in the apartment we were going to, but they gave us a warning right up front that it was COVID in the building, the apartment building we were going to, which I thought was, that told me they're doing a pretty good job of getting it from the health department, getting into the CAD system.
I also inquired with the county in regards to that, if they were updating it to make sure they took people off the list, because we don't want to be going to addresses and just getting false information. Not that we're not gonna change how we're doing things, but still, it's.
I was pretty impressed the fact that they were keeping the running COVID cases current in the CAD.
So your original point, Mark, I think that's wise.
Yeah, I was watching the news tonight, and Albany County's got probably the biggest spike right now.
It's spiking all over, and I think that's
Yeah.
something the chiefs have to monitor.
They didn't say exactly where, but just within the county, so.
It's gonna explode all over, and I think that's something that
So I mean,
the chiefs have to
we're
monitor as
watching.
president.
We're watching to see and try to stay on top of it as best we can. If we have to go back to what we were in the beginning.
So
I don't
let me just
see a
comment on
reason
that.
right now. with the
So-
issue.
I think that's something you definitely have to monitor. Company presidents have to monitor in the district, but, if there's gonna be any kind of scaling back or further opening or any movement on that, it's just gotta be coordinated, amongst all, and not have people, just have to do that together.
I think we kind of included you on the banner thing.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the district facilities, if you start doing policies with alarms, everything, you should be, we gotta have one policy district-wide.
One thing, Rich and I were talking about this earlier a little bit. You guys don't require masks on the trucks when you go to calls or
We're
shows?
supposed to.
Okay, just want to make
Right.
sure. Okay, I didn't know you would sit. Okay,
That's been a hard one to take and keep everybody going, but.
yeah, I want to make sure that's still,
It's getting
still
better.
requirement, correct?
Getting much better.
That's
Yes,
not
so-
changed for each department?
Yep.
I know some of the drivers, due to the mask, bogs their glasses and stuff like that. I mean, that's one of the obvious, you gotta see where you're going. Taking the call, they try to.
Yeah. All right. All right, purchases for the chiefs, one request here for, 2 tip cameras for a total of $11,780. And the 4 LED survivor lights at a cost of $379. All the proper documentation is provided. Any questions or comments on this? Otherwise, I need a resolution.
I guess I just want to clarify what Sean had said. They've expended their money. Do we gotta kind of wait and see what's going on? Do we gotta wait and see if we're never gonna spend $3,000 on radios?
Sorry, I was writing
It's okay, I'm sorry. It's just,
I was talking about that, and maybe particularly regarding the tips, if we could, I think we're gonna have to do a line adjustment on our budget. To move some to the chief's budget. But, we're up against a hard deadline on this in order to get our rebate. What was it, December 3rd?
Fourth.
December 4th.
Yep.
So I was just, suggesting maybe the motion's approved pending final confirmation by the treasurer that the money's available.
I'm just getting a little concerned, like, I know we gotta buy all this new equipment for the trucks, right? Trucks are moving along pretty fast. Now we're hearing possibly another $3,000 for radios, and overall, I know that may be a small amount, but it's a change. And you only have a finite amount of extra money you can find, so to speak, this year.
So
And the radio thing, I don't think can wait, because they gotta do the work,
I guess
make sure you have enough.
I'm not opposed to purchasing these, but I'm a little uneasy about passing a resolution that approves a purchase if money's available. We shouldn't be approving a purchase if we don't know for sure that money's available.
Well, there is money available, it's just not contained within the chief's line item. There's other money where we were under budget
So
for other areas.
we may have to do a resolution next month.
Next month,
Okay.
move some money, yeah.
But the money is there to do it.
Yes, the money is there to do it. And then it's gonna be coming out of potential money to buy equipment.
That's
to apparatus.
my only, because that's all time
To
sensitive.
Brian's point, exactly, is that, we keep nickel and diming these funds. And we keep talking about all the wonderful things we need, and a lot of good stuff. But we can't keep doing that and expect the wallet not to run dry at some point.
Or some of the equipment may not get bought this year. I mean, again, it comes down to what you have left over, but it adds up.
I mean, the money we spend at the end of the year is surplus money. And if we burn up all the surplus during the course of the year, in the normal course of business, there's no surplus money to do any of those fun things that we've done at the end of the year.
And that was another way in which we would help fund the purchase of apparatus in this building. Money that was left over at the end of the year, oftentimes we would reallocate to capital reserve equipment and building. And, we might not be able to do that this year if we buy that.
What about these hand lights, these $379? Is that up against a rebate? Do you want to hold that till next month, or?
I'll put that up against the rebate.
No, it is not. That could be helped.
I just don't want to, if we're going to buy those ticks, I don't want to lose out on that rebate.
So, do you want to hold on the hand lights? There's no rebate.
If we really need to, yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's just like,
Are these
there's
replacing ones that are dead?
Yeah, they're dead, they're broken, they're just,
If they're dead and broken, the guys need hand lights on the streets. I mean, that's not that's a basic operational thing.
some of them
Except
are
I'm not
broken.
opposed to it, I just, we don't really know where we're getting money and how we're paying for things. It's the board's responsibility to kind of know this and where how we're handling our finances, so. So Sean, what's your ultimate recommendation to I know we'll make the decision, but what's your recommendation?
I mean, if they are both definitely necessary needed items, I would say move forward with a resolution, because there is money in our budget. We just might have to make an amendment to our budget to move some of the money, because we're under budget on a number of line items. So, not that that gives you really clarification, but
Okay. And when did we get these quotes? When did you get these?
Well, the light request was made like a month ago, and the tick, that's been ongoing. We've informed the board that the rebate program is going to end, so it's all current.
They wrote it actually to the end, right? The tech program, we ran it right to the end.
Well, pretty much. I mean, it's less than a month out, but
Entertain a resolution to approve the two purchases for the lights and the tick cameras.
So
Rich, need a second? Brian, roll call.
Brian,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Rich, Scott.
Resolution carries. Apparatus and equipment, Dave and Rich.
stuff under the new apparatus, that's part of the down apparatus needs to make. Anything else at this point? The chief mentioned that the repairs got made to truck 407.
We're getting the specs together for 427. So get that out.
Yeah, I'll talk about that under.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else.
Buildings and grounds, Brian and Dave.
However, we got a tour of the station. We had on site, tree,
On target. It's on target.
not target. It was something like that. Cut all the trees back, cleaned it up really nice. We got rid of some bushes and different things, but he did a good job, and price wise, he was very good at it. So they finished up the other day. They had a few chunks of trees moved that the chiefs wanted to whittle on with the training. So that part's done. I talked to Jimmy Oliver the other day, and he's still having a lot of problems with speed on the computer. I don't know what we can do, but he spends a long time trying to put a report in with either somebody's on it over here or whatever reasons. It's just so bad that he's complaining. Jimmy doesn't complain about it, but this is bothering a lot. And the
Eclipse.
Eclipse, and take a look at it.
Mhm.
They looked at the last time, and I don't know if anything got better or what happened, if we have to change something, but we'll look at it.
I know Jimmy said that the last time he did a check on it for Spectrum, it was only functioning at like 4% out of 100. The bill Spectrum something terrible. It was really. Spectrum's bandwidth. I mean, I even see it now at home with mine. The channels aren't changing right away. I'm back, I gotta go.
All right, well, we'll look at it, let's look into it.
What was happening is he was actually putting the report in, and he'd get 1 or 2 names in it, and it would drop it.
Well,
He'd have to reset it.
We'll look at that. Anything else?
The new copy, or the copier got tuned, but then when we get over and went to use it, the toner's out, so I was checking on the toner for that unit. We probably ought to put a value on that down the road. Next time we have an issue with it, we may want to look at the idea of replacing it. I think we spent with 500.
Just under 500.
To repair it, to tune it up and stuff like that. It may be time to spend 2,900 to get a new one. So,
It didn't sound too healthy listening to it today.
squeal a little bit.
Serviceable.
That toner that's in the cabinet, Mark, isn't for that, I think.
I don't know, without looking at it, I don't know.
Bob's gonna check on it, because I wasn't sure either, but there was stuff in there. And I
That could be
figure out
where
where
it
it went.
went here. It could be for that one. Without looking at it, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. That's it. There's another option that after clearing all the trees down, looking at it, where the shed sits now, the big shed, and the gas hut, is pulled away and it's kind of leaning over the embankment. The big shed is leaning a little bit more than the other shed. And after clearing the trees and looking at the lines, I talked to Mr. Coonan that runs a detail shop. His landlord is Mr. Valenti, and he implied that Mr. Valenti was looking to maybe sell the land that's involved with behind our building and stuff. I'd like to just reach out to him and see what he's talking about, just to see if there is something for the strip of land that kind of lines up with ours and square it off. I don't know for sure any of it, but I want to check into it, so just to see, because we talked about it for years, and supposedly he owns the daycare, the house next to the daycare, the gas station, Mr. Coonan's building where he does detailing, and what was the gentleman that,
Winnie Coon.
no, the guy with the thick glasses.
Fred Coon, right?
That house is just about collapsing inside. But not that we're looking to buy any of all that, but just to see what that piece of land that Larry used to clear, it might give us the land that would support the shed down the road before we start doing blacktop and all that other stuff, so. I'll reach out to Mr. Valenti on that and see what he says.
I think it's definitely worth exploring. I mean, just looking at the shed, it's kind of precarious, but it's kind of hanging. And I mean, we're not talking like a huge swath of land, but enough chunk where you give Wise a little bit of space to maybe add parking
We've got
space.
the old fire trucks.
Realign that whole side of the firehouse. I mean, you're probably looking at 100 and something by 80 something, but it's, so I mean, if you're gonna be redoing the parking lot fully, it's worth
It might be
looking at.
something, and we.
Better us to do it before we do the parking lot, but again, it's not.
Right, no, but I mean, it's.
How much cash is available?
You can get the land out in a couple of years, but it's one of those unique moments in time, I guess.
Did you get a chance to get the survey?
Yeah, I looked, I could not find that. I have it on my list here. But I know it was done because I was talking to my father-in-law about it.
Yeah.
And he's the one that like requested it before he left. So we do have it, but it used to be in the bottom drawer, that's all cabinet, with all like the plans for the apparatus and everything in there.
I'm curious, because I can remember going back when we moved up there, that I thought we were only like 10 or 20 feet off the old station. And Jim says it's farther than that, so we don't know for sure where our spot is, but we ought to figure that out.
It's considered MERV 10 building for installed.
And can I get it?
Yeah.
I just want to remind the chiefs and the presidents that on Tuesday, December 8th, I need to use the meeting room for the fire district elections. So I just wanted to remind them about that. And then point number 2 to it, David said, my father-in-law would be very happy to buy that piece of land and make an egress right out to the intersection of Main Ave and 150, because you know he's been talking about that.
Well, you look at it every time we clear, but I don't know if that's the best payout.
Oh,
I don't know if it's a paper street between there, and then again, I look at the distance that if you were coming in front of the old station and we were coming out with an engine, is there a good time there that we would go out on the, it's a tight situation for the view. Brian and I looked at it quite a bit today, so we'll explore it, see what it does.
Okay, Bob, you've got a note here about the boiler pump repairs and pump replacement.
Yeah, just I informed the buildings and grounds commissioners, but there were some problems with a couple of the circulator pumps for the boiler here at DFD, and the circulator pump for the domestic water tank is frozen up, so they have to replace that. So I'm just giving you a heads up that there are going to be some expenses on that. And I did send an email out about the MERV filters, and so we're in good shape there, and we'll have Wyanskill up and running very soon with the recirculation too.
All right. District personnel, I don't have anything, Brian.
Negative.
I'm gonna say thank you for hiring Bob.
Yes.
There is a question on Bob being here now that he's in Wyanskill, and he can stay on the Freesville side or we can run him over to Wyanskill. I think that should be a question.
Thanks.
Finance, insurance, long range planning. I don't have anything. Scott, do you? No. Sean, anything in that?
Just we had a request for a workers' compensation audit, and I pulled the documents, and I'm just waiting to get, I guess probably with COVID, they're probably putting it off. I could do it electronically with them, but I really want to sit down and go, this is the first time we've done it, so I really want to sit down and go through it right now, so.
All right. Policies, procedures, and membership. We developed some capital membership before we acted on that. Brian and Scott. Anything that's the bank stuff. So before we take action on these, there were some outstanding applications for Wyanskill.
I still have one, still trying to coordinate with him, been working a lot overtime, so.
So when was that? How old is that?
Probably 2 months now, at least.
I mean, I think we're kind of getting to.
I'll hold on to it and we'll resubmit it. They'll kind of get the, when I get the rest of
Or I
that.
think we rescind our approval. I mean, these aren't just open-ended, you know, and whatever. This has been.
It's just good to try to catch up to him.
He started his training, is he attended drills, is he, no?
Well,
No, but on the same hand, you join an organization, and it's 4 or 5 months to get in the door, that's kind of defeats the purpose of our guys coming in. And I don't know how to, I realize the fire department is the lead on this, but I think the district is losing good candidates for fire district employees. So I don't know.
we approved somebody.
I know,
We approved them 2 months ago.
The problem is that-
We didn't delay anything.
We're not, but it's affecting us by having manpower that we could have here. More district employees.
I get it, but I don't understand how we approved somebody 2 months ago, and we're not getting the information.
I understand, like I said, it's not our fault, but I think that we need to start looking at this a little bit differently. And
So what could we have done?
I don't know,
We approved
well, I think
somebody 2
you're
months ago.
referring to, not this member, but the other ones
The other
that
ones.
we're waiting for the paperwork on.
Yeah,
I think
just
that's,
think
that's what you're referring to, right? Not this.
Well, two separate issues. I'm asking about the guy that we approved
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yeah,
So let's just-
I understand that when if you can't catch up with the guy, I get what you're saying, you know, how long do you keep chasing
Well, I'm
after
just,
him?
yeah.
And I think Dave is talking about how long it took to get the other guys.
Is it his paperwork that's missing, or the district, or the fire company paperwork that accompanies it that's missing?
What happened was, half the paperwork wasn't there. It was, in his case, the district application wasn't there, and there was a couple other pieces, so I took the bunch, I got them all sorted out, got everything signed. He was the only one that I was still having problems with getting, I've been in contact with him, but being able to coordinate with him, sit down, finish the paperwork and get it over here to you guys, so I'm still working on it. You know, as soon as I can squeeze in and catch him, we all set. But I mean, if you want to take a step back,
I think we,
can say, when I get it, we'll just resubmit it as the application again. And do that, whichever is easier for you.
so we never should have approved it in the first place without it being complete. But I just think if we don't put a definitive deadline, this is never gonna. So my suggestion would be, if it's not in hand, you know, in 2 weeks, it's
I'll continue to work on it.
I'll entertain a motion that the required paperwork that we've been holding off on for 2 weeks, if it's not received by November 23rd, the approval is rescinded. We'll have to take action the next meeting, but
So,
motion made by Rich, second by Brian, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So Bob, can you follow up on that and let us know? All right. So we've got one resignation here. This is the Freesville Fire Department from Adam Nato. He's resigning immediately as he's moving with his fiancee to North Carolina. I think he's already gone, he will be beginning of October. And thanks for the friendship and good relationships built. So this was approved by DFD October 8th. So I guess we'll, if he's resigned from the fire company, do we have to formally take action as a district?
Can't.
Just a
You
notification.
can't not let him resign.
What's that?
You can't not let him resign. It's,
Right,
you
but I
just,
mean, we need to
you acknowledge and accept it. You don't have to approve.
All right, so we acknowledge it. New members. Is this DFT, was it?
Yes. We
Blake,
got 2.
yep, Blake Hall and Joe Chirella. Do all the other 4 commissioners looked at these? I did not look at them that
Yep,
closely, but
checks were there.
everything was there. Everything, all right, cover sheets are all complete. Any questions, comments?
I met both the other night, they seemed like good kids.
Good job getting that last check back in, because I know it was tight getting the last arson check in. They lose somebody.
Entertain a motion to approve the 2 applications. Brian, second by Dave, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. LoSAP, Scott Kennedy, Brian,
I don't have anything.
all right, you got any?
Nothing yet, I mean, we gotta make that decision yet, but.
Carrie and I are,
Right?
oh, I'm sorry. Carrie and I are still working on that 80-62 conundrum.
yeah.
So, conundrum, yeah.
Okay, officer qualifications, Brian and Scott.
I think we got them in place. I sent the verbiage change as best I could remember them to Bob a couple weeks ago. I think with them going into place time for the next election cycle next year, I don't know if we really need this committee. This might be something we can just take off the list.
Yeah, it was kind of like a special
Yeah.
committee, so it didn't die on the vine again.
They were approved, adopted, and the verbiage cleaned
All
up.
right, let's take it off for the next month, it won't be here. Thank you.
Progress.
Hey, Brian, do me a favor, just send an update.
Nice job. Nice job.
I want to make sure I get it straightened out.
Yeah, that would be effective next year's election, not next month.
Right.
All right. Special committees, business operations and technology. I don't have any, we're gonna have the computer looked at over there in Waynesville. Guys, no. Development plan review, Brian, Scott?
Not,
Nice.
not to me as far as official plans, there's some extension on Kohler Way over your neck of the woods, so to
Well, I
speak.
saw the sign out there, what is that?
They're basically extending the road down a bit. We made comments about the hydrant placement because they're basically adding several hundred feet to a 500-foot road. The turnaround would be in the middle of it, so we had some concerns. The planning board tabled that because our concern is dead end. It creates a dead end more than 500 feet, so you got to have the turnaround. Well, the turnaround would be in the middle now instead of the end. So they're looking at that.
Why they want to extend it?
Off the top of my head, it was like 250, 300 feet or something like that.
Nobody need for what?
More houses, it's like a subdivision. Dave's probably more in tune with.
Yeah, basically, they took the end of the street and they ran a driveway down to one house and they ran a driveway farther down the same one, a shared driveway into a second house.
And the dead ends past what the code requires, or allows, I should say. The planning board chairman did ask that we, once again, go look, I guess the Route 43 water project's starting back up again. Or it's officially going to start in the spring. He did ask us to review the hydrants. I got to find the old plans along 43 to see where these hydrants are. For the chiefs look at, make sure the hydrants are still in good locations. There was something sent forward from planning board from Eric Westfall, the engineer, basically talking about, not a need for another hydrant where they're building down between the Panera Bread and the juniors and stuff. But other than that, just rumors and things are slowly starting up. But
The one that is starting, it was originally approved as a Vent Fitness and a O&E Med building.
right,
Down
just
across from Cumberland. There's a meeting with the planning board and zoning board chairs next Tuesday to give them a rundown on what the project is. And that project goes before the zoning board on Wednesday, the next day, for review and action. The public notice is out and the plans are available in town hall, so I can tell you what I can see in the plans. It's a 24,000 square foot supermarket, retail supermarket in there, and out front of it, some type of restaurant that has drive-through. That's the only thing you can derive from the plan. Now, if you look at who's around in markets right now, you can kind of get an idea of who might not be there in markets, and you can also kind of surmise who uses small footprint markets versus large footprint markets. You can pretty much surmise that the potential applicant, I'm presuming, is their initials are Aldi. So that they're about the only ones that have that small footprint market. And that's the rumor that's been on the street for a couple months anyway. But that goes before the planning and zoning on Tuesday for informational meeting, and then Wednesday is the first potential action on it. So that looks like it's going to move pretty quick. The developer's hope is that it will move pretty quick.
right, we would probably have to provide new comment on that because our previous comments were based on the emergent care.
Completely different project.
Right, so there would be.
So event fitness and stuff would still be part of it? This is like instead of the emergency.
No, this is instead of, maybe they're still gonna do an urgent care somewhere further down in the land, right? When I talked to the planning board chairman, he was talking about, he wanted to see a plan for the entire thing. And I'm only seeing, because they own land now all the way down to the end of the cul-de-sac.
Did they get the final lot?
There's one lot still that they're still negotiating, but that's not my problem. But I'm just looking at that piece of land right there next to the vet clinic, and that's proposed to be a 24,000 square foot supermarket and a smaller footprint, can't remember the square footage, restaurant with drive-through. So again, I was trying to figure out what restaurant don't we have that has drive-through? I can't even think of who that might be. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
That was,
But that project is seeing some movement.
that's all we have for actual plan review. Unless you got it, sorry.
Firematic operations, Rich and Dave. apparatus needs committee.
Couple things here. Spent some time this last month on, especially this last week, working on this selling a Fortress 7. There in your packet tonight, there's a first cut at a sales flyer for it. We're going to get it on letterhead, maybe do something with the font, the picture layout. Adam got us some great photos for this, so kudos to him for because that really provides a lot of information right in front of anybody that's interested. We do need to find out what motor is in that truck. We know it's a Cummins, we know it's a 6-cylinder diesel. It's a 98, and halfway through the year in 98, Cummins reissued their 6-cylinders diesels. And the first half of the year was the old style, second half of the year is the new style. It will make a big difference because the old styles were, to put it mildly, dogs. And they have less resale value, obviously. The fact that it's a 98 truck on a Spartan tells me that Spartan had to get the motor transmission early enough to put it into a cabin chassis to get it to Laverne with enough time for them to build a fire truck and get it to Wyattskill in, and still be able to call it a 98. So I'm leaning in, my inclination is it's probably an early one, which doesn't bode well for us. So, but I do need to get that, we do need to get that information so we can really definitively tell. If we can pull up, Sean, if you could pull up maybe the last work order on it, maybe that would have the information on it. I guess there's a binder somewhere over Wyattskill. I was over there twice today, but I didn't go upstairs looking for binders. So
According to paperwork I got, it's a model C 8.3.
a C what?
A C 8.3.
C 8.3?
Yep.
That would be an 8-cylinder.
Yep. C 8.3.
Because the
So six cylinder,
yeah,
4.494 and a 5.32 stroke on it.
what was the bore?
Bore was 4.49.
All right, yeah, that's the old one. All right, we'll see whatever you got. We'll make a copy after the meeting, and I'll have that for my records. A couple other things on this truck. In putting this together, a couple questions came up that I couldn't answer, and I figured I'd throw them out there tonight. I wrote down and I jotted it down in an email earlier today. Who should the primary point of contact be for anybody with interest or questions? I'd like it to be somebody who either can receive the phone calls or has good knowledge of the truck. If somebody calls me up and asks me questions about that truck, yeah, it's big, it's a Laverne, it's green, it's got a 1250 pump on it, the Cummins diesel engine. Yeah, it's a top mount. That's all the questions I can answer about. I don't know that truck intimately like as others might. So who we can have some primary point of contact on? Do we have a bottom line number? And this is where these are the questions. And I did a little bit of research. I found 2 Lavernes of about the same era that are for sale, both 99s. I couldn't find any 98s. I don't know why. But I found a 99 Laverne, 1,500,000. Ours is a 1250,000. They're asking 80,000 for it. Get 80,000. That's what they're asking for. Found a 99 Laverne, 1250, 750. Price just reduced is what it's marked. 59.5. All right. Got a 98 HME. Can't even read my own writing here. Yeah, it's an HME cab. Who built the old 92?
Garland,
No.
Central States.
Central States, Central, HME Central. 1,500,000, 43,000. A 98 Pierce. Pierce supposed to be the top of the line with highest resale. 98 Pierce, 1250, 90,000. 99 Pierce, 1250, 1,034.5. 98 Pierce, 1,500, 1,000, 17.5. And this one was interesting. I wrote it down only because it's very comparable to 97, which we'll be looking to do this with a little further down the road. It's a 97 3D Spartan, 1,500 pump, 1,000 tank for 56,000. So the price on these things is all over the board. And that's what they're asking for them in resale. And it's like buying a used car, you negotiate down from there. And that's certainly what a dealer or a vendor would not be paying that much, from us to take it off our hands so that they can remarket it and try and sell it. So you gotta figure they're making 15–20% on these things. So, I mean, I don't know, do we have a bottom line? How do we do this? How do we even set a value on it, Terry, and properly market it? Because that leads to the next question of, by what means do we offer it? Just for sale? Do we gotta get quotes? Do we gotta give people a date to submit a bid by? What's
Well, you can, to answer that question, you can pretty much do it any way you want, as long, if the value is less than $100,000,
I think that's pretty safe that it is. Okay.
then the board would need to pass a resolution subject to permissive referendum. It's over 50 under 100, that's what, or over 20 under 100. So that's what you would need.
I'm hoping we can get 20.
In terms of how you're gonna sell it, you can go eBay, you can go, you can take bids, you can find somebody who's interested and just do a kind of if it's government to government, it's a real easy sale.
Negotiated.
You can sell it for less than fair market value. I mean, you can, however you want to do it, you got a lot more leeway if you sell it to another governmental entity. How you evaluate it, that's kind of tough because it's really more of this than anything else. You can have well, because the prices are all over because not all rigs are maintained the same way. Some rigs have a good name and a lousy reputation by, some are lemons.
Some are steel, they got rust, some are stainless steel, they don't.
So, yeah, so where I would start is go to your insurance policy and see what the value is, the ACV on it. It might be easier to roll it off. And see what it's insured for in terms of what the insurance company has established as the value of it.
And then it be stated in the insurance policy?
Yeah.
Should you guys pull that number out for me?
And if not, you could call them, just write it down and do. Was that Dietrich or is that Michelle?
It's on the policy.
Michelle, all right.
Yeah,
So
it's on the policy.
you can have, since you're going to be moving 2 rigs, it might be worth your while to have somebody appraise it.
And
And three. And you could do a virtual appraisal. Have someone do that. I mean, so it'll involve someone with a good iPad taking pictures and all that. Even, there are people that do that would probably be interested in doing it because if you got frustrated, you would probably end up going with them to sell them.
There's one vendor, and matter of fact, one of the vendors that I got some of these quotes from, this the vendor I got the tool and burn quotes from, as a matter of fact, is the one that expressed an interest in these trucks. He saw a couple of us at Syracuse at State Chiefs. I'm sorry, it's Turning Stone at State Chiefs. That's how long ago it was, at Turning Stone. Last time it was at Turning Stone. He saw us talking to new vendors and came over and said, "Hey, you guys gonna be getting rid of a truck when you're buying? You're talking about buying one. What are you gonna be getting rid of? I'd be interested."
He tell you were handsome too because
no, he didn't go that far.
Didn't go that far. Okay. There are some, and we should talk offline. There are some that are better than others. You might want to pay somebody just to do an appraisal since you're moving 3. That will give you an estimate, but realistically speaking, they can tell you it's worth $98,000 and you're still not going to move it for 75 or 60 or whatever. It's the cost, the price of it is whatever someone's willing to pay for it. Not what
Yeah, I spoke very casually with Phil over at Vanderbilt. This was quite a while ago about it, and he basically at the time said, "Yeah, I can take a look at them for you, and I could probably sell them for you, but I'm going to make money on it." Which means that he's going to give us, he's got to make money on it, so it's not going to be the best deal for us.
That's why it might be worth paying somebody a flat rate or a fixed rate to come in and appraise them for you. And that, there's a guy, there's guys all over, but rather than say we want to.
I could probably use him for that. Or is there somebody else you would recommend? We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
The other question that came up was, and I've identified equipment that on this, the sales flyer, for people who can't see it, it's, you know, identify the pump, tank size, poly, the roll-up doors, that's a biggie. Identify the seating, identify the ladder complement.
Time on the pump.
Pardon?
Time on the pump.
Time, I couldn't find a
Hours?
timer on that thing.
Really?
I think there's one there someplace, most of them have it.
Is it part of the tank?
On the.
Up on the pump panel? All right, all right, I obviously, I think you gotta put the pump in here to get that, well, I didn't do any of that. So we'll give you time on
Those
the
have
pump.
new tires.
New tires. But it also raised the question, what other equipment are we selling with the truck? The only thing that really jumped out at me is you got mounted hand lights throughout the truck. Do they go with the truck? Are we taking them out? Or, you know, so these are the kinds of things, you know, I mean, if the chiefs can take a look at this flyer and add things to it that they think are pertinent, or say, oh no, we're not giving us those pipe holes. Now, if that's the case, then let's get the edits on this and get this squared away. So that's where we are with the whole thing. Most people have questions from that.
We put a new, we put a new built-in generator on it. It was questioned back when John Boston was chief. It was, fairly expensive.
So
And
we'll
that had to be replaced, but it has, it's nothing huge. It operates the lights and
get
whatever.
can I get some specs on the generator?
This counter opening new, so.
Mhm. But it was replaced at least halfway through the life.
Next part about that, the motor is separate.
No, it's a separate generator, but it was replaced back
Maybe 10
oh
years ago.
seven, yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that discussion.
And we're all at 10, 11, 12.
It's less than 15.
Yes.
I do remember that discussion. It's not an engine fire
No,
generator.
it's, there's a separate generator right there that runs the thing. It's nothing.
PTO.
Oh, it's
PTO,
PTO.
PTO driven, and it's like I said, it's nothing like we have on the
Like a
trucks
Harrison,
today. It's
like
just
a Harrison hydraulic or something? Like a Harrison hydraulic or one of them? Yeah. We'll get specs on that too. So that's where we're going with it. Pending me having a conversation with Terry to find out maybe we suggest for, to get some kind of appraisal. Am I authorized to go ahead, because that's gonna cost us money. Offer, you know, I don't know how much it's gonna, I don't wanna wait until next month to get approval to do it.
Yeah, I think we should.
Absolutely.
All right, move forward on it. All right, I'll discuss it with you afterwards and everything. Thank you.
All right. We do have a need for an executive session. Let's do public session first. Anything?
Look again. Nothing.
All right. Nothing for public session. Entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular member.
Make that motion.
Brian, second by Dave. All's in favor?
Aye.
I got the camera there, Brian. Sorry.